to just gently close your eyes. And as we breathe just gently in and out, up and down, all around, we feel ourselves, we experience ourselves moving into our center, our core, with each breath. And then with each breath, we enter into this sacred time together, a sacred centering time, a sacred heart time, a sacred conscious time where we join together after many months, after what has gone on before. We're not there yet, but we are very present in this precious moment together. And we allow amazing miracles. We allow amazing grace to unfold in this gathering. We are open and receptive to what is ours to do. What is ours to be in this new place that each one of us is? And so we are open, receptive, ready, willing to join together to create, co-create amazing things. And we honor each other's space, we honor each other's light and love and wisdom and creativity. And we are very grateful for this time that we spend together this evening, for what is to come and what has been and what will be. But what is right now, we say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is.
And
so
so
it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia.
So last night, thank you so much for that blessing. Last night, for those of you that missed the third Thursday call, we highly recommend it because it was an hour and a half of sacredness. It was one of the most amazing hour and a half. Shelley Darling brought 3 elderly with
Actually, 4.
4 Native Americans and to talk about the hoops of harmony. And there's really a recognition of that every time we're in circle, it's sacred and it's ritual, it's ceremony. We here in this picture have spent a lot of time in a circle at Sunrise Ranch, and some of that time we've been really silly, but all of that is also sacred. And I just really gave a perspective to me last night in that call. So it's on the archives. We got the archives thing done today. It's on Facebook, and we really recommend it to you because it always is. So,
Right. And he also talked about forgiving the unforgivable.
right.
And recommended a movie called Dakota 38.
Mm.
And Kathy was on the call. Kathy was, what did you think? Just
I was crying.
Yeah.
when they
It-
showed,
It was so beautiful, but it was so the first thing usually that you feel it being Caucasian with all of this and European descent or that continent descent is there's this guilt that you feel, and what they released us from it. It was beautiful.
It really was. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So would like to do a little check-in. So in the sacredness of the circle tonight, we need to talk about some details and where we're going from here. And some decisions need to be made about a couple things specifically, like the ranch contract and the World Unity Week coming up in June. And but taking all of it in with the energy and blessing that Marcia just shared with us. So Noelle is, for those few of you who haven't seen it yet, Noelle wants to show the 1 minute, description of co-creators convergence, so we don't have to say it every week at the beginning of our calls. Here it goes. Sound, stand back, read fast.
Okay, can you see a purple screen?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Noelle has gone crazy in Canva.
Yeah, that's one way to say it. But I hope you caught that. Next week, Kathy will be hosting Dave the Mystic. And he's going to do Akashic Records. And Kathy, do you want to say anything about Dave?
Well, I've met
That's
him several times in person and I've interviewed him. And this was really weird. I was on an ET call
Of course
that
you
was, excuse me, what?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't say anything.
No, I said, of course you were on the ET
Oh,
call.
I was on this call that this gentleman was talking about his book, and there were other experiencers on. So it was like a grid just like this. There were like 6 people on. And this lady starts talking and says, I have been abducted, blah, 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 blah times. And the only person who could help me was Dave the Mystic. And it's like, what? Like, what was the chance of that? And then, and that she was abducted by the Palladians and there was an implant in her third eye and blah, 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 blah. And that was with Alan Seinfeld. Do you know who he is?
Alan Stanfield. Victoria wants to bring him to a call.
Okay, well, I'm supposed to, we've been emailing back and forth because I think he's on Conscious Business Zone next week. Anyway, so Alan's been doing these ET roundtables that are fascinating. Anyway, so
Thanks.
I
Wow.
thought Small World Department is like, hey, you guys asked me to interview him.
Right, and then he pops up on your screen. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be
So
next
out of
Thursday.
Context.
And then after that we're gonna have Ron and Victoria. So they're gonna be our guests on April 22nd. So, and they have a theme for celebrating Earth Day. So these calls have really turned out just absolutely sensational. So I hope more people can get them into your schedule. You know, they have been relatively well attended compared to the old calls, but it'd be nice to see more faces, but I love seeing all these here. So Bob, I'm going to turn it over to Bob because he's telling me I'm already off agenda.
So let's do a quick go round check-in with everybody to see what is new for you right now. And then we want to just maybe spend about 15 minutes talking about current status of things that the convergence community as a whole are involved in, and then open up for discussion about what it can be, where we go from here. So let's do a check-in. If you just give us a minute or minute and a half, 2 minutes at the most, in honoring Vistar Foundation, 2 minutes maximum of what's new for you, what it is. Who would like to go first? And then whoever does, call on somebody else.
Well, I can go.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I've connected with most of you. So my life is
51.
flying very fast. The big thing for me is Planetary Peace, Power, and Prosperity Legacy Foundation, Inc., which articles of incorporation were filed in the state of Florida on April 17th, 2020. We have a strong board of directors and group of officers. And we also have a stewards group. Let me go back for a minute. And if I'll put the link for that in the chat if anybody wants to explore it. But if you would like to partner with us on Planetary Peace, Power, and Prosperity on the website, all you need to do is exchange logos and website links. If you scroll down to the bottom and you look at the carousel at the bottom, you'll see everybody who's already up there. And I know Victoria's there, Ron and Victoria, Vistar Foundation, and Co-Creators Convergence is up there, as well as a lot of other people we're partnering with. It is growing very fast. And we also have a group that I call Stewards, which is growing by leaps and bounds. And it's a twice a month gathering on the 11th and the 22nd of every month, where these amazing co-creators are all coming together in an hour and a half gathering, which evolves organically. And it's a space in which almost miracles happen all the time. So if anybody is interested in exploring that, I'll put my email address in the chat as well. Just contact me and let me know, and I'm happy to add you. There's nobody standing over anybody with a whip on this. You can
Put your email and your website in the chat there, please.
I put my email, my email and my website. The other thing I'm extremely actively involved in, I know some of you have heard of this, but I don't know how many of you have actually signed up for it, but it's an organization called Be Connected. It's an amazing, fast-growing platform of very conscious co-creators as well. Amazing people I've connected with on that site and continue to connect with all the time. My head is kind of exploding with the connections that I have available there. And if anybody has a foundation or another organization and they're looking for passive streams of income, now's the time to get into this, because you do have the ability to generate substantial streams of passive income if that's of interest to you. Or if you do virtual trainings, they have a Zoom platform. They bill as being premier, and it costs $12.99 a month, which I'm told is much less than anything else you'll find on the market. Plus a travel savings passport, where you can get prices that are much lower than TripAdvisor or anything else. So,
Awesome.
Thank you, Janet.
yeah, and that's probably more than my time, so I will just add in the chat.
Okay, you have to pass a baton to someone.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kathy.
Let's try to keep it to a minute.
Sorry.
Okay, just published a book, about to publish 2 more. So you have a summit in beginning of May. Working on helping with the magazine. Got Don Lynch is going to be featured through the IONS, the biggest IONS group.
Who is?
Don Lynch.
Oh,
Because of his near-death experiences and his amazing capacity. One of my other people is in England and is being picked up by all the media in the Middle East. So publicity is amazing what's happening. Lots of people are doing what Janet's talking about, and pulling resources together and helping each other. So it's really a cool time to see all of that. And of course, I could keep going, but bye.
Thank you.
Do you want to mention Elsie?
Yeah, she was supposed to be on the call this evening.
Oh, okay. So just so you all know, please put Elsie Ritzenhein in your prayers. She's in the hospital. She was taken there, I don't know if it was Wednesday night or Thursday morning, with 911, and it's something with her blood. I didn't understand, but she's had a bunch of transfusions.
Oh my.
So please put her in your prayers. Want her to do well. And she said the other thing she'd like is a bed, because she's on a gurney, because they're out of beds in the hospital.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so
Thank you,
please
Kathy.
put
Thank you.
Elsie.
Kathy.
Yeah,
Did you talk to her directly?
yeah. I hounded her until I found her.
Found the person.
Let's,
Well, I knew something was off and
Mhm.
just kept calling. So
Good for you.
please send
I'm
her our collective love and keep us advised.
okay.
There's no way any of us can help. I'm sure we will step to that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we'll just send in good mojo will be a good start. And we
Thank
got
you.
some power packs here, so
Woohoo.
Wonderful.
yeah.
Who do you tap?
Oh, Leanne.
Kathy, update on me. I am moving in this week, between this weekend and next weekend, into my home that I'm building, an art studio, which is a long time coming. So I'm very excited about that. And my meta art channel paintings are just really taking off. I have a gallery here in Pittsburgh. I have someone representing me in LA. So that's all happening this spring as well. So that's my quick update. Yeah, super, super excited.
Cool.
I hand it off to Victoria.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. So first of all, the 24th or 22nd of April, Earth Day, Ron, my husband Ron, and I, and a friend of mine named Ellen Mann, who is a student, was a student for many years of our mentor, Kenneth George Mills, and we'll be presenting some of his work and his message, really his message. And so if you are not interested, but if you're intrigued by non-duality, for example, and if you're intrigued by beautiful music and unbelievable words and wonder and magic and spontaneous creativity, you should tune in, because we'll be talking about our experiences with him that really shifted who we are and where we're going. So one of the things he said just here for Elsie, so was it Elsie? Is that no collapse of anything material can touch the indestructibility of the divine nature. So it's a wonderful thing to hold for anybody. No collapse of anything material can touch the indestructibility of the divine nature. And I'm just here because I'm excited about co-creators convergence and what's going to happen in the future. And World Unity Week, we've been talking about that. And I know something great is going to happen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Victoria.
Who do you tap, Victoria?
Oh, let's see. Sarah.
Sarah? Thanks, Victoria.
Thank you.
Sarah, we can't hear you, even though you're unmuted. Okay, why don't we go to Marcia while you figure out your audio? Maybe you need to put on a headset or something.
Or down under the audio settings, the caret next to the mute button. It says audio settings. And then there's a sliding scale for your microphone.
See if your mic's up.
Marcia?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Just a little bit.
Okay. All right. So now I just did something else. I don't know what. Let's see. Okay. Hello. All right. So, Victoria, who is it that you said you were talking about plugging into, with this wonderful message of art and music?
Kenneth G. Mills. You can look him up. He has quite a robust website.
Will
He's
you?
he's no longer here, but he was a Canadian metaphysician, teacher, artist, blah, blah, for many
He's
years.
a magical man. I'm
Would
going to put it in, it's a Kenneth G.
Yeah.
Mill Foundation.org. And
KGM, right?
yeah,
I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you. That's
I-
exciting. That's really exciting. I have personally just gone through a health exploration. And I'm doing well. I'm coming through it quite well. And so at the same time, I have been staying active with MIT and the Presence Institute with their Theory U and Gaia program, which is always leading me to where my passion is holistic health in our communities and in a paradigm shift of preventative medicine. And so I'm just getting ready to launch my health coach practice. And so that's Awakened Wellness Experiences. And so I've been developing that. And so here in Venice, I've just been cultivating relationships to be a part of that. Between Sarasota, Venice, Northport, Estero, Bonita Springs, and Naples area. So I'm just finishing up with my last, hopefully, exam for certification in certified health educator specialist. And so basically what that does for me is that I can be a referral from licensed doctors to a non-licensed health education practitioner. So now I'll have everything I need to be in the referral system, and then also to be able to do my biofield therapy approach. So using the subtle energy fields to be in groups. They actually created CPT codes, the American Medical Association, for individuals and groups. So the shift happened and I was there for it. I am there for it. So that's me. Thank you.
one of the things
Wonderful.
about that CPT code means that you can get paid by insurance companies.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's fabulous. I'm really happy that
That's very exciting.
yeah.
Yeah, well, and the big thing about that is just that, we being a non-licensed practitioner, doctors couldn't refer to us, right?
Right. Now
So
they can refer-
that's the huge shift, is that now we can have all the referral systems, and that's what the medical system has benefited from up to this point, is being in a referral system.
Right.
awesome.
So it's a nice shift. So thank you so
Opening the-
much.
Yeah.
Open the field. That's
Open the
fantastic.
pay portal.
Yes, yes. So
Thank
Allie, I choose Allie.
Ali, also in the health field.
I am. Yeah, I work at a hospital, and that is so exciting to hear all that. I'm a social worker at a hospital. So I think the biggest thing for me is that I picked up a new position within that to be a social worker for complex cases in the hospital, which to me means that I can do a lot of work with people in broken systems to make them, feel like people. So that's exciting. But also exciting about that is my schedule will change. So I'll be available in the evenings so I can do more of like this stuff, which will be really awesome too. So yeah, that's about it, I'd say.
Great. Ali came to us through Donna Forrest,
Yes.
who was CCC 1. And then Ali came to the last one.
Yep,
And
Mhm.
they're all buds up there in Fort Collins.
right. So it was really wonderful to have her youthful, wonderful energy with us.
Who would you like to tap, Ellie?
Oh, did Marcia go yet?
No,
Okay, go.
thanks, Allie. Marcia McCartney, and just to check in, the thing that really is turning me on right now, and that I'm really excited about, and I'm not sure where it's going, but it's certainly helping me. I just was turned on to an author by the name of Rabbi Shapiro, Rami, R-A-M-I Shapiro. And he has written a book. He's a very prolific writer, but has written a book called Holy Rascals. So I'm just in love with his evolutionary approach to the 12 steps, which has been a big part of my transformation in my life. It really was the very first thing that really woke me up, was my addiction. But his whole take on 12-step spirituality is so profoundly powerful. He brings in Buddhism and Taoism and this advanced consciousness in his Jewishness as a rabbi. He's just amazing. So I put something in the chat if anybody's interested, but he does a lot of podcasts, and his books are amazing, especially the ones on surrendered and several on recovery. So that's kind of where my my energy is right now. And
Wonderful.
it's good to be with everybody.
Thanks. Who would you like to tap?
Let's tap Dina.
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 Hey there.
Thanks, guys. I think all of us, we feel like we lived a lifetime in the last year. So it's really hard to do a quick check-in. I just moved into a studio last year. I'm just moving out in the next couple weeks. I've shifted a lot of my work to online, like self-help courses that you can take on your own. Also, a community that I'm building. Leanne and I are also building Sister Oh Sister on Facebook. It's just kind of starting out slow, little bits of commitments here and there, but we're doing a monthly call just to check in and to support one another. I also joined a company called ShiftCo. It's a conscious business growth platform. And if you have a conscious business, it's like, it's amazing. It's so amazing. And yeah, just recalculating, you know, the last year has been recalculating, getting pretty good at that.
Thanks.
And what else? I think that's it.
Okay, wonderful.
Glad to have you here, because this call really is about recalculating this community. And so
Yeah.
I think all of us feel like we've spent a lifetime in the last year. So
Yeah.
who'd like to tap?
Yeah. I would love to tap Karen.
Karen's talking on her phone, so I'll just.
Thank you, Dina.
Karen just sent me this picture on a text about an hour ago.
You guys
entering California. She's taking pictures going 70 miles an hour. It's welcome to California, my friend.
Okay, Karen, go ahead.
Do you hear me okay?
Yeah. Go.
All right. I am really spending my time in between my home and Hammond Springs, where we're building a wellness center, and I'm cultivating the 2 homes that I steward into sacred space for our soul family travelers, which is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
One of our co-creator family members came and stayed there for 5 months. It was really, I wasn't there, so that was really special. And then to California, which is where I'm driving to now to be with my 90-year-old parents and just continue supporting them in their conscious aging. And then one more family in Marin County, young family, and the mom's having a baby and they have a 4-year-old. So then I spend time with them, and we'll go help them in July when they have the baby. And Co-Creators Convergence, I'm loving being a part of hosting the Thursday calls. I get to do the fascinating meeting people, the guests that are coming, some logistics of getting them set up. And there's actually a fabulous guest on the last Thursday of April.
Who's that?
If you want to come, I
Not
know
that
that
fabulous.
I know that the request from the guest is, if you do come on that call, to come prepared with 2 minutes of a share around, it's me, by the way, talking about family food traditions and how they impact our personal, familial, and global communities. So if you can be there and you want to be thinking about it, what sort of traditions did you have growing up around food? Do you still carry them out in your adult life? How do they impact your health? And how do they impact the community? So that's really amazing. Always looking to cultivate, there's so many great choices for us to show up at. And we always love when we have I love when we have a big group on Thursday nights. And last night was one of the absolute, as Bob and Noel said, most sacred experiences. I listened to it again today. Just so beautiful. And really, really involved with the Unity Earth and being a part of the hub, the volunteer booth at Unity Earth, which I'll probably be sending you emails to see if you want to volunteer. And then also with the Co-Creators Convergence Room, as well as setting up a children and youth family room. And we are looking to see if we can get an entire day dedicated to the children. That's child and youth led during that week. So those are some of my things. And let's see, how about Bob? Have you given an update?
No, but thank you. And thank you for all that you're doing. And yeah, thank you for all you're doing. I'll say very quickly that my life is full of joy and change. Being a homeowner here for the first time in 10 years, there's always something to do. The list is long. The joyful part is also that we've made a decision to have some gardens and actually to grow our own food, because we're in one place long enough to do that. So there's some seeds out there, and when each of you individually or collectively come to visit, you're going to get to partake in our harvest. The change part also is very interestingly, today is a part of 4 days in which we're going to memorial services 3 days out of the 4 days we're in right now. Yesterday was a memorial service for my mom's best friend in high school. So besides my mom, she's the person I've known on the earth longer than anyone else. And
She knew you all your life.
she's known me all my life. And so we had a memorial service for her yesterday. Today, this evening, some of you are aware, in 20 minutes, there's going to be a memorial service starting at Sunrise Ranch in the Dome for Amanda McRae. And I've been sending a text to them to find out whether they're recording it. It's not going to be on Facebook, but if there's a recording and you're interested in watching it at a later time, just let me know and I'll make sure. Amanda and Leanne Hertz were here visiting us in November, so they have a very special space in our heart. And then Mark Porteous's dear friend, Alan Davidson, there's a memorial service for him tomorrow. He passed in the last couple of days. So an indication of the change. And I'm complete. Noel?
Well, I was gifted 30,000 books. And so I am trying to give them away. They are the Joseph Communications from Michael Rachia. If anybody wants a set, I just asked for the set, which retails at, I don't know, 150 for $10. But my real mission is to get them into prisons. Because if you know anything about prisons, it's really easy to get a Bible into prison. But to get something that empowers a person to know who they really are connected to spirit is difficult. So I always put that out there in case anyone wants a set of books, be happy to send them to you. And if you have any contacts or any relatives in prison, let me know. I sent a set of books to this one woman. I didn't know her. She just requested the books. I sent them. Long story short, she has a nephew who is in prison, has been imprisoned for over 30 years. He's innocent. He married the prison psychologist. They adopted a child. The child, he's now a grandfather. And it's just, there is a Pulitzer Prize author that is writing his story. And they have the evidence. The other person confessed. It's like a personal vendetta sort of story. So they're hoping that he will be able to get out. So little did I know. So he's getting a set of books. I'm going to stop it there because we need to get on with the agenda because Marcia says she has to leave at 8 and we have so many things here to discuss.
Right.
So thank you all for being here.
Thank you all for
Love you.
your check-ins. Thank you so much.
It just makes me so happy to see the faces.
Blessings in all of our activities. So Noelle, would you give us like 2 or 3 minutes at the most on the website, the Facebook, the Thursday night calls, and then I'll spend a few minutes talking about our situation as far as a convergence this year. We're under contract, and about World Unity Week this year, and then we'll open it for discussions. Right?
Let's just skip over that. You know, the Facebook.
Okay.
You know, let's skip over that because we
Okay.
really need to get to these things because Leanne says she has to leave at 8 also. So
Okay.
I think one of the major things is, and we hope you've been thinking about, you know, what is CCC and how it should continue. One thing, we are under contract to be at Sunrise Ranch June 23rd through 27th. You know, we can get out of that contract easily. Sunrise is starting to have groups in May, and, you know, they have to adjust to Colorado COVID regs. They have purchased a large outdoor tent so people can eat. We'd have to rent that. And there are 13 people rolled over. They're still enrolled from last year. I think half of that were the Weavers. So maybe there's a, you know, like a 7. So anyway, been in touch with Sunrise. Sunrise said they could offer us another date in July, or they could offer us a date in September. So those are options. I'm just trying to go really quick here.
I'll do this then. Are you going to?
Yeah. So one of the other options I'm just going to put on the table because I'm going to have to talk fast is that maybe we don't go to Sunrise Ranch at all. Maybe we go to White Eagle Lodge in Houston, Texas. You know, that I love so much. They have only 20 people could come. They have a beautiful temple, 77 gorgeous acres, a wonderful saltwater swimming pool. It's just beautiful there. And Sarah's been there. Yeah, I don't think anybody else on the call has been there. And they have 10 rooms with 2 single beds in each room, and each room has a private bath. So I think we could be easy to maintain, and maybe we make it like Dina, one time we talked about having a writing or a meditation retreat. And so, you know, don't charge any registration fee, just have people come. You know, you can knock down some dates with White Eagle Lodge. They love us. We lived there during this winter, year before last. And they're always willing to accommodate. So I'm just putting that on the table as an idea instead of going to Sunrise Ranch this one year. And so that's one thing I wanted to put on the table.
How do you want to rearrange the schedule?
The other thing is that where we have the convergence right now is June 23 through 27, and World Unity Week overlaps that. That is June 19th through 27th. So, you know, one idea, they said, well, you could do stuff in person and then just live stream it. We were part of World Unity Week last year. We did 17-hour broadcasts. We had Jennifer Ivanko brought Jean Houston, and Eleanor LeCain brought Marianne Williamson. We had Deborah Poneman. We had Kathy Mason brought a whole slew of really great people. She was co-host with us. It was amazing, amazing day. We also did the Up Convergence. That was about 70 hours worth of broadcast. That was in September. And, you know, but, you know, we can be a part of that, or we don't have to be a part of that. There's no charge or anything. It's a lot of work, But if people are really willing, I feel like it's a platform for us. They're really, last year it was put together like in 6 weeks. This year we have 3 months, and larger organizations like a deal with, I forget who it deals with, Unify is also joining. Unify has over 1 million people in their circuit. Ubiquity University is part of it. There are some very big organizations. So in some ways we got in on the bottom floor. Do we want to, stay there, and what do we want to do? They had last year for the UpConvergence 23 different rooms. Marcia hosted a room for the week, and so did Karen, and Raina Shea. It's also beautiful. And again, we did about 70 hours of broadcast. The views weren't that great because in some ways there was so much. And I'm just going to jump here because I'm trying to jump quick, just at least to deposit some seeds in your brains. Kathy Mason has also talked about a Co-Creators Convergence Summit. And we haven't talked about that recently, but Kathy, do you want to mention anything about that? Or?
Well, I mentioned 2 things. One was
Yeah.
a summit,
Mhm.
and the other was an idea that the co-creators, and this would probably be off of the website or something like that. There's a lot of people doing free giveaways, and you wouldn't necessarily have to have a summit to do a free giveaway where that's part of the group mind, that we all have cool stuff, and it could be centrally located on the website as a free giveaway. But the other was having our own summit. But I have to say, I went to the World Unity Week event and I was very excited about the energy of this year after last year's. I mean, when the Caravan of Unity came through, only Peter Melton was it. So, I mean, he went to each city, but it didn't kind of gel last year. It was great though. So if you won, I don't know what that.
Oh, no, go
Okay.
ahead. Just
Okay.
ignore that.
That's okay. How come we can't type on this anymore?
What do
I
you mean
couldn't last
type?
night either. So I can only do everyone or you guys. So I can't text anyone.
Oh, that's weird because I
It's
never.
it's a Zoom setting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never changed our.
Yeah.
Zoom
See,
setting.
the rebel wants to do that.
I want you to do that. Let me see. Enable waiting room.
Anyway, so I'd love feedback if anybody feels like having us do a summit, but maybe doing it in conjunction with World Unity Week and using their audience. But calling it our summit.
We're just gonna open it again.
Yeah, I'm going to unmute all. I mean, if anybody wants to jump in here, where we go to participants.
So there are a number of things that are.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. Call it in just a second, Sarah. There are a number of ideas that have been kicked around as far back as our November meeting when we got together like this, individual conversations that have taken place over the months about other things, about where the convergence goes from here. One of the guys at the ranch, you all remember Diego at the ranch, or those in recent years remember Diego. He does a program now on Saturday night that says Spirit Says Sing. We've taken a couple of people, invited a couple of people to that. It's an hour-long, kind of very free-form sing music sort of a thing. Kathy's idea. Heidi Little's talked to us about her Roku TV channel, and Co-Creators Convergence doing programming on that. And and there are others that have talked to us about partnerships in different ways. I'm not sure what that word means because it means different things to different people. So to me, my big question that I'm just going to toss in front of everybody is, where do you think we should be going from here, having had a year of not being able to be together physically, which was energetically such a significant part for 7 years of our community? Where do we go from here? Or has CCC run its course? I mean, a lot of people are doing their own they've launched from it, or they've been amplified by this community. And they weave in and out of this community. And with these new weekly calls that Karen initiated back in October, instead of monthly calls, we have many more people that are coming into the orbit of the community, but they really never have experienced the circle at Sunrise Ranch. They aren't particularly active on the Facebook page. And so my big question is, do we keep doing what we're doing? Or do we call it a day? Or are there other projects like Kathy and Noelle and others have suggested that we, and Victoria, that we investigate? Sarah, you had your hand up. I don't know if it was in response to that question, but we'll just keep it open and go ahead if you like.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that, you know, with the co-creators conference at Sunrise, I mean, I remember that you guys spend like months and months to prepare for that. You know, you have your folks all like, I mean, you put in so many hours before you ever get to Sunrise Ranch.
True.
And so I know that, you know, you've been pretty busy with these other things. So that's the one thing that, you know, in terms of how do you prepare with this short of notice for a Sunrise Ranch gathering, and not only just prepare for it, but just getting the people there, you know, to make it worth it. And I feel like, you know, I sense anyway that it's a short timing and that people aren't maybe ready for that kind of gathering yet. You know, we're still just barely coming out of where people are starting to feel like they're, you know, they're feeling comfortable with being in large groups in person. But with that said, for me, I don't really enjoy all the online stuff. I mean, I need to be in person, and I need to hug, and I need to kiss, and I need to pray together, and, you know, I need that. And so I'm all about White Eagle Lodge, you know, and so my thoughts are even if we did an interim White Eagle Lodge to kind of to surface what's next, you know, like have it a meditative walk about where do we go from here, so that we actually have an experience that leads us into some of these answers instead of just trying to figure them out this way. And then my last piece to that is I think that the World Unity Week is just so extraordinarily valuable. I mean, it's sort of the culmination of what CCC has been about, is to, you know, swim in these waters with this, you know, world, you know, community. So I'd hate to see us miss out on that. So I'm complete.
Thank you. And just one quick footnote about World Unity Week. Everybody that's been involved in this, Karen's gotten much more involved in it this time, globally, not just with our community, it's been iterative, and they've learned a lot. All of us have learned a lot about how to do that. And I'll tell you, the Up Convergence was just a gem, because it was Kathy, Noelle, and I for that one day last June. And it was something else.
We finished at 1 a.m.
But everybody that stepped forward to take over a whole hour for a week. Not that that has to be the format of this year's World Unity Week. You know, they're open to a lot of things. But the pivotal question is, do we want to be an organization or a community that gets categorized as a co-convener, meaning our website, our logo would be on there. We're committed to doing presentations. We're committed to members of our community being room stewards and Zoom hosts and things like that, all of which is what happened in September. And that's what lessened the load on a couple people. Other people, thoughts about what Sarah said or everything else, anything and everything. Particularly those that might have to leave soon.
I have a quick question for the two of you. If you were to end Co-Creators Convergence as it is right now, where would you put your time and energy?
Well, we have Light Partners, and we have all our social justice things we do. And I'm going to call it my prison ministry. And we also have a ministry in Wisconsin we haven't mentioned anything about, that we're on the board of directors. We started a nonprofit there in 2008 with Father Joe, working with Latinos. Don't worry about us, man. We got all kinds of stuff.
I'm just curious where you would shift your focus. That's all.
Yeah, we, and we're open to other opportunities, this thing with, with Diego, like to use the StreamYard platform. That's kind of cool. They want us to do a regular show. So does Heidi Little, but, maybe we'll come work for Planetary Peace, Power, and Prosperity. P cubed. Is that a cube? No, it's more than a cube.
Others?
Do
Jump in,
that. I'd love it.
particularly those that you need to leave in the next couple of minutes if you've got anything you would like to share about the big picture.
I'd like to chime in. I don't know if I didn't hear if someone jumped in ahead of me. It's Karen.
Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, so echoing what other people have said, I mean, it's amazing, like maybe co-creators convergence is like small and mighty, and I've only been more involved in last year. Yet just the power of the impact that it's having, and we're seeing like on these Thursday calls. And I mean, literally there was like a family reunion on one of the calls. They hadn't ever met each other in person. And they showed up on the Zoom call, and it was just so amazing. They had met through Ancestry. So I definitely feel strongly to partner with, like, have a co-creators convergence through World Unity Week, and to keep co-creators convergence going and do like that, and then maybe a gathering at White Eagle Lodge. If there's a core group of people, like a circle of 12 or a circle of 24 or 32, that are taking on all the various roles that Bob and Noelle juggle, and have juggled a lot on their own, aside from when we pull the Weaver teams together and do the in-person events. So if the heart, soul, people power is there, to kind of keep making this impact, and maybe if it's not there, then maybe it is time for a natural evolution of what co-creators converge is, and that naturally shifts on its own. But I love the idea, like the Up Convergence was so, I mean, I just think Bob and Noelle, like, to get more people on the production team so it's not falling all on you. And I think that was a great format where each person was assigned a time slot, and filled it and took on that responsibility.
Yeah, it was
That's my 2 cents.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
It was pretty amazing. And, it gave Karen, I just saw Raina Shea. She did the literary hour. She just blossomed.
Yeah.
She just brought it, and I'm going like.
She only knew how to do 2 things on Zoom at the beginning of the week. And by the end of the week, she was like a radio moderator. It was wonderful.
We had the art with Leanne.
Yeah.
We had a lot of artists there, and Marcia with the, the
Victorian Spirit Club. Yeah, it
the
was
Spirit
it was a
Club.
great week.
It was really.
I think we should just give them all the recordings from the Up Convergence and just program them in.
Well, what I'm feeling is that, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kathy.
No, I think you could do that. I think you could reuse some of the recordings. I do want to say that I think it would be very sad if a group of us didn't still meet, even if it's a small group. I do think that the idea of Sunrise Ranch may not be the perfect place anymore. There's also that Y camp up at Estes Park that has a similar setup that's just beautiful. It's like the Sound of Music space. So there may be some other way, but I mean, we could even do Peru. I mean, Daniel Gutierrez has this beautiful retreat that's not very expensive. It's not that expensive to get there, and it's full service. And go to Machu Picchu, so it could be like a spiritual experience and co-creation. So, I mean, we could get pretty cool ideas together by meeting at Eagle Lodge. Yeah.
I really like what, go ahead, Leanne.
I'm sorry, I have to jump off. So I just wanted to say, I love all these ideas, and my gut's telling me, like, let's not stop gathering just because of COVID, or somebody had said people aren't ready to meet yet, but in another year, I would hate to see that be lost. So I love all these ideas. I do love getting together and really going deep into it and brainstorming as well. So because the possibilities are endless, and yes, I love where the conversation's going, and I'll definitely be thinking on it.
Good.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Leanne.
Thank you, Leanne.
Really appreciate it. And we're recording, so we'll get you a copy of the recording for
Yeah.
the remainder of this. I think what I like the idea about going someplace for those who want to go someplace to gather, so we can show each other our certificate and then hug. And we can, or not show our certificate and trust the big plan and hug. And to include where do we go from here, but be able to do that by sitting together, wherever that, and whatever zip code that might be. That one rocks me a little bit. I like that. And thank you for your comments, Sarah, about in the formats that we've used for all the other convergences, and particularly the last three, there's no way we can have a Weaver team, even if you pick up the last Weaver team, have a Weaver team, have people register, say what is your offering to the theme, and then do all that stuff. So the formatting of the planning can't happen by June. Could it happen by July? Maybe. Could it happen by September? Likely. But another issue this time is people who say they'll come this time and then change their mind is a higher probability because of continuing COVID. And the people that say, I'd love to come, but I'm just not going to travel. I'm not going to get on an airplane. Or they may change their mind 3 months, 2 months from now, or vice versa. So the certainty of who will actually show up, even through this summer, I think is still very different than it has been for 7 years.
I just wanted to say that one year we did put it together this fast.
Yeah.
And it was grand.
Well, and the thing is, to
If
me,
so
I don't think, the fact is that whoever shows up the first day could be deciding what we're going to do the next 2 days or 3 days. I mean, I have no issue with that either. But
Victoria wanted to jump in.
go ahead, Victoria.
So are you discussing whether you'll have it live in person?
Yes, we're discussing, we really feel like we want to gather in person. That doesn't exclude that we could also have people live stream in. So, as much as we could. Put on the nature walks through, if we went to White Eagle Lodge, and being out by there, they have the most beautiful labyrinth with the fire pit in the middle, called Tower Hill. Just gorgeous. Some parts we wouldn't be able to, but some parts we could.
So the idea of a hybrid, for the first few years, we said, no, you have to be in the room. You have to be in the room the whole time. That evolved over time. And in more recent years, we had Barbara Zoom in, and we've had Michael Rachia Zoom in, and we've had Bosnia Zoom in. And so we did a lot with Good of the Whole that one year. And so this is all the evolution of the format.
And we couldn't have more than 20 anyway. That'd be the max we could have.
At White Eagle, yeah.
If we went to White Eagle.
Right.
Would this be part of World Unity Week?
No,
that's a question. Well,
I think we were thinking about doing it later, like in September at White Eagle, but we could still do World Unity Week, because to try to get everything together for in person as well as do World Unity Week by the
same week, right?
No, I have my nervous breakdown now.
I was thinking in June. I think it's going to be a little early for travel. I mean, a lot of people will do it, but it's just a little early. By September, though, we're not, and I don't know. But for World Unity Week, did you talk about that at all?
Yeah, it looks like there's a thumbs up on that, but I'm going to have another meeting with people who can really be a part of the planning committee, and there's part of it that they want people to have different rooms with themes. So we're going like, okay, co-creators convergence, how do you say that's a theme? And so I thought, why don't we call it like I had something genius, the big tent, creator.
There's something about your gift to the ship, bringing your gift to the ship.
When you bring your gift to the shift. Under the big tent, bring your gift to the shift.
Right.
And
so we can bring the Barber legacy word in some way, in some fashion, to the theme. And frankly, it's, 3,000 miles wide, that theme for
Right.
people that might want to be in our room.
It's just what you're called to do. Everybody here,
Right.
has a gift,
Right.
in one form or another to bring.
So just for everyone's information, Victoria and Noelle and I spent time on the phone yesterday with folks from Unity Earth about this specifically. And it's still being organized as far as the structure, the kind of the technical, how it's going to be laid out, back office using Zoom, all those kinds of things, is going to be standing on all the lessons we learned from the UpConvergence. But there may be a superstructure of like different, what did she call them, Victoria, fields or whatever that would be focus areas, art.
I didn't understand it. No one understands it. Because
There
Unity,
might be like a healing room. There might be a temple for meditative stuff. There might be a thing for.
They wouldn't be rooms, they would be focus areas. So that healing space that Noelle was talking about, as I understood it, there may be multiple, there may be a half a dozen organizations that their work is in the area of healing. And so they may actually have a separate room inside of that space that they steward and schedule and program for the whole week.
So last year we were like a standalone. We
Right.
did our whole production ourselves. But let's say that somebody, Karen wants to do something with kids, and there's a kid room. So she might say, well, I want to go over to the kid room and present there. We go, okay, but we could still have the big tent for anybody, who wants to, I just feel like it's offering a platform for our members. We're not one thing. That's what's so different about us. All these other organizations are like really one kind of thing. They're healers or the Reiki masters or the, this or that. And we're all encompassing.
So I just wanted to bring something forth that's been a vision of mine for a long time. And I'm always looking for groups that would want to do that. But see, one thing is, because we were talking about this in FIONS, Bob and Noelle, co-creators are people who are creative and creative together. Creators and creative with the higher. Co-creators. Co-creators. So anything is creative. I mean, climate change is creative. So it doesn't have to be on painting and art, because everything is creative. So one of the things, because we did this in Voice Point, our theater ensemble from Vistar.
Amazing.
Yeah, I know. What we did is we created an hour and a half production. It was a production like The Lion King. The Lion King, how long is The Lion King? It's 2 hours. How many people are in The Lion King?
A lot. A bazillion.
Is there a message in The Lion King?
Yes.
Is it entertaining?
Yes.
Do people sit in little chairs and pay $300 a ticket and never move for 2 hours?
Interesting.
Okay, so we created these productions that were an hour and a half long on Rumi and Mirabai poetry and music and all this. It was live, But for a long time, I've been thinking and seeing where there could be a bunch of people that would want to create a production. What I mean by that, an hour and a half production that is scripted. So what that means, Bob, technically, it's like a little movie. Maybe there's a narrator saying, welcome everybody to co-creation. Co-creation began in the beginning, that God created the heaven and the earth, visuals. And then everybody here scripts themselves. They find their part in co-creation, what they want to say, maybe not an infomercial necessarily, what they're doing, but what is real for them, what they're passionate about, and what is doing, what is like Earth is a co-creation. The universe is a co-creation, but it is scripted in the sense that it's very simple when this happens, by the way, guys, because everyone knows where they go. Because it's like there's a script and at 8:15 you come in and nobody has to introduce you. Nobody, somebody has to run this who's really swift. And they just go right up. So Bob starts something and then comes up on me and by interesting, all the different backgrounds could be like screensavers. In between could be some music, but it can all be, actually it can be scripted and recorded and never have to be done live. So that's another thing, but it all can be both.
Mhm.
So I've always thought about that, like, so where would that go? That would go in the arts and creativity and theater and music. You know, what is this co-creators convergence? It's a convergence of creative people that have a message together, co-creators convergence. And, you know, the scripting, everybody would be happy with what they say, and they would, how much time it would take, we'd have to know. There are 10 people and it's 90 minutes, do the math. Everybody gets that, and, you know, could go on for, could have act one and act two. But, you know, but the good thing about it is that you know what you're going to say, you have it prepared, you're completely in control of it, and whoever is running it, either this live is somewhat tricky to make it move slowly with all the, could be music in between,
Mhm.
could be a picture with a message, it could be a poem, it could be, you know, like what is all this co-creation, depending on who the people are that are in it. It's authentic. It's not a production that's not authentic. So I've been trying to do that for a long time, but I haven't gotten anybody who wants to do that.
So you're saying that it's scripted in that each individual knows their part, not that somebody wrote it like a screenplay and gave them their part. They bring their part, but they know what it is.
It can be many things. Like it could be a story. Like, you know, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And what are we creating? It could be a story, like there's a narrator, or it could just be people speaking. Everybody has to find who they are and speak. Yeah. And meanwhile, in a way, think of the Lion King. I mean, you know, in a real script, people wouldn't be equal. There'd be more people who are the leading actress and, you know, supporting. There'll be a story, but this doesn't have to be. It can just be an unfolding kind of thing where everybody is speaking or doing something or telling something, or but we know what it is. So we start like the creation maybe at the beginning of the earth. We come down into total materialism. If somebody comes and talks about the political scene that's going on now and how that's, you know, what are we co-creating in the world now? What is the co-creation of life that's going on now? And then it comes out to somebody who does psychic things and has a, not bad, but no Antoinette and Pato, but comes out the other end. Anyway, something like that. I don't know.
Well,
Just-
Victoria, this sounds like it's part of my big tent idea, and you get to be the ringleader.
You could almost do the history of CCC like this, where you'd show the group pictures from each year and say, for, you know, this is it's sort of, this is our life, and you have different people, maybe the weavers from that year, or different people speak.
Well, we have beautiful themes every year.
Yeah.
Right. But see, that way we'd share it out to a bigger audience of what we've done, and inspire more people,
But it
and,
feels
and remember it more too, because we were in it.
yeah.
These ideas
Cool.
feels bit. I really love the idea. It feels to me like a separate initiative and project, not something that could be shoehorned into World Unity Week. I mean, World Unity Week, the opportunity is there because there theoretically will be many more people that may participate in or watch it. But nothing. Anyway, I think it's great. And we don't have to worry about any of the images because we just get a hard drive and get all of Flo's pictures. And then that'll be the slideshow for everything. All the backdrops are done. They're all done.
Or it's something we could do together when we get together in September.
Yeah.
Victoria, I wanted to show you this real quick.
The seal of approval.
Yeah, it's an old cassette. I
Okay,
have two of them right here. Anyway,
I get videos.
I would love those. He recently had a book, Out of the Blue, and I got to be a reviewer for it. It was
Cataract. Yeah.
Tennessee Mills.
I got to be a reviewer for it too.
You did
Others.
too?
Yeah, they didn't put me on the cover like they did you.
I got mine in first.
You're on the cover. How about it? Anyway, So any other thoughts?
Sarah,
Yeah.
I love what you're saying, Victoria. I'm just really inspired by it. And what I do love about it too is that if something like this was created, you know, I mean, I can envision it so well, what you're talking about as being part of the World Unity Week. Could that not also be something that could be accessible, you know, for those who, you know, will miss not being at Sunrise Ranch? You know, that it would be a way that we still experience, you know, what we experience when we come together at Sunrise Ranch. You know, because my deepest memories are very specific on experiences of connection. And so if we, you know, have a combination of the themes or whatever, but then, you know, all of us here, you know, can recreate, you know, some of those special moments, you know, by some of the different practices,
I mean,
you know, we participated in, and show the practices of connection and the transformation that happens when you're that connected to another human being. And especially now more than ever, you know, that would be just such a beautiful message and such an honoring of CCC, no matter what we do with it from here out.
yeah, I mean, it just, you know, I just put a template on like the idea of scripting something means everybody knows what they're going to say and people know before they come and when they come on. And also it's a message. It's like it's like, you know, it's beyond the sum of the parts, right? It's like a message from the whole. It's like having a bouquet of flowers and now you see all the flowers and you love them, but the fragrance. It's what people like leave with afterwards. They go, oh, that was so beautiful, you know, like that. So it's that kind. It has to have a message. As much as I think, as much as seeing what people did in the past, I know because we have the same thing with our Vistar method now. We talk to John, and you know, telling people how wonderful something was. Like so, like this is what I did in my summer vacation. I had a great time. I went there. People are like, oh God, you know, they don't want to know the good times we've had. They want to know what right this minute, something this minute that is like the thing of that. Doesn't mean you can't, that could be stories of that, but a story, you know, then just something that have, or it could be, people could say a practice right here. Like if we scripted it, you would know, like Sarah would know at 11:30 for 15 minutes. It goes right to her. She is welcome into the co-creators room. We're going to do a meditate, whatever. Marsha does a funny kind of thing. The difference only is that it's not as much, this is what I'm doing, but like what is the cohesive message? Like, you know, there's a lot of power all sending the same message, like the Lion King. That has one message, see? That's why it works. A lot of people are saying it, there's a resistance to it, there's conflict, but it's a resolution, a harmonious message. Co-creators, what is the message? Co-creators, and the message, I mean, I don't know, you guys, we all are co-creators. What would be the one message? And everybody kind of weaves the story or the pictures or the paintings or the poems around that message. So when people leave, they go like, I get it. Something like that. When we did Rumi, that's what we did. We took 10 of Rumi's poems, we put them to music, we told his story, but the poems were all, people acted them out. And they were all about, what was it about? The path of heart. Path of heart, path of heart, path of heart. Gamble everything for love of your true human being. Path of heart. Not Christian, not Jewish, path of heart. It was called, that was a title. So it's like a play, you know. When you get, the minute you get, you know, if it's going to be what did the play on Broadway, you know what it's going to have a message. Anyway.
So when you started, because it's kind of the foundation of everything you've been talking about, all of you've been talking about. Did you say creative people creating together? Is that the phrase you used? Do you remember? Yeah, you. Yeah. It was, what is co-creators convergence? It's creative people creating together or something like that. Yeah.
Are you going to come back, Kathy? I guess not. All righty, Kathy had to jump off. Dina had to jump off. I love this, but you and Sarah know how
Yeah.
to do this. Sarah, with your choral, orchestration, she works for a nonprofit choral group. And so they're, very creative, musical, and do fabulous things together.
Yeah.
Um, this isn't in my bandwidth. I would not know how to do this.
Not that it's not your bandwidth, it's not in your past experience to do this kind of thing.
I
right?
love going to these things. I love going to these things.
Oh, so what you're saying is that your bandwidth is creating it in real life together, not so much recreating it into a script and on a video kind of thing. Is what you're saying, the production of that.
She's just saying she doesn't have experience with things like this.
Right. But I love your bring your gift to the shift. I mean, that's it, right? I mean, that's really what co-creator has been about, and then if you don't know what that is, you discover it together, I love that piece of it too, that you're never alone, even in the discovery of your gifts. So I could see the relationship to that. And then of course the wheel, I mean, I don't know how many different co-creators you really facilitated the message, Barbara's message of the different, platforms on the wheel, but that would give you a working platform, to share the same message, of incorporating different aspects of the wheel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Peace Pentagon does a thing that's really tied to the wheel. They do building the new world, and then they have representatives from each sector.
Mm-hmm.
I find that limiting myself.
Mm-hmm.
I could never find out where I went in the sector.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell a history, if you wanted to tell a history of the evolution of co-creators convergence, by just having person after person after person come on and tell a story of one moment that changed life.
Well, then it feels like it's maybe a promo for co-creators convergence.
Well, why shouldn't it be?
Says a marketing genius, Janet. Well, that could be one piece of it, but I don't see that being a whole week. I mean, World Unity Week. I mean, I could see that as being
okay. Maybe you'd have to have a lot of people coming.
Well, but then you could potentially, the people that are creating that one piece, all of those different pieces become a whole in itself, throughout the week. But people will know that even that is coming from this core of the co-creators, so that you're still harnessing your group the answers to the question that you presented. How do we, different nonprofits have their specific message, co-creators has this broad. Well, that's even more valuable in a sense, right? Because you're more inclusive, and there's more transparency, there's more connectivity, from a lot of different perspectives, and not just locked into one thing.
Well, I'm not throwing any cold water on this. Thank you, Bob. I'm not throwing any cold water on this. I just don't know how to do it. But I would love for somebody to do it. I can assist. I can,
participate.
I can be a, and I can help orchestrate, but somebody else would need to be the leader.
Well, it's so great. She just wants to do it or somebody to do it. But I think like that kind of idea to script something like that, we have to work together a little bit. I mean, you have to know, like, and Noelle, I know that you don't feel like you could do it, but I know you could. Not do it the whole thing. Nobody can do the whole thing. It's got to be a group thing. I mean, I was not a director of anything, or we did it together. But what I'm saying is that you may not be able to envision, and I don't know what it is yet. It's just, say we take one idea and open it up with, put a lot of stuff in it. But
are you saying that we should co-create this?
Yeah.
Right.
Alec, smart Alec.
All right, Allie, you're the boss.
No.
No, I just thought it was a really beautiful description of co-creation that you were just coming up with as you were speaking. It's just perfect.
Yeah, I understand. I understand that. I know it's something new, and it's the kind of thing that Noel and Bob would have to really think about. And have to get other people who've been involved. You're going to have like 20 people. This could have 20 people in it easily, because see, how many people are in the Lion King? Once you have a part, every part is so important. So it could be a lot of people. They don't speak for long periods of time. So if there's people who want to be the Lion King only, then that's
Hakuna Matata.
anyway. But Noella, I think that if this is something that would be say it's an hour and a half, but even an hour, like a show, production that is pre-recorded. Say it's pre-recorded, or maybe it's hosted live, but it's produced. That's a piece that can go many places. That could play many places. It would.
Well, I think that would be something we could do in September, and maybe do it I just don't see it something that could be accomplished. I mean, let's be honest. How many people were invited to this call and how many showed up?
24 and 12.
And, to get to June, it's out of my realm of possibilities. But, if we come together in September, we could actually do it together and have it ready for the next year, or for whatever. We don't have to wait for World Unity Week. We could make it, if Kathy's talking about doing a CCC summit, which she knows how to put all these summits together. I don't know if you've done summits, Janet, but she's done many. She's doing one in May. I don't know what it's about.
I have not done them, but I'm connected with people who have.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like what you're saying, Noelle. I like the idea of the summit. I like the idea of, not trying to do too much too fast. I love the vision that Victorians, created here. Just so creative. And I like the idea of September, because we've all been through so much.
Yeah.
There's no reason to pile anything on right now, and we're just kind of unraveling. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oops, you're back. Accidentally. Okay.
I'll take the mouse
I
away
shouldn't
from her.
touch the
Stop
mouse.
fiddling.
What I love is that whatever Victoria brings, it's always so creative. The first year we did a chorus line.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were there. Weren't you the first
Sarah
year?
was there, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going
And
like,
Janet.
and Janet. And I'm going like, what the hell is this lady talking about, a chorus line?
It was spectacular.
And so she had three of us get in front of the room, and they tell their story. And Ron gave us a question, I believe, who was your first spiritual teacher, your first spiritual experience, or something like that. And it just brought the house down. It was so, I can still remember what I said.
Flo and Allie, if you've never seen the movie, the chorus line, the movie or the Broadway play, that was the format of it. Is that
it was it could be the Unity Earth chorus line. By the way, it wasn't just Ron asking a question. This is the chorus line where people, and now the question would be, why are we looking for peace? What makes us keep going? When Donald Trump was president, I wouldn't say that name, when we're completely, this is in chorus line, the director says, I want to know why you want to be in this very special show. I want to know why you want to be change makers on earth, why you want to be in a special show. Tell me your guts. Tell me when you break a leg, why did you keep dancing? So why do we, when everything does not look too good, when there's a pandemic, when people will not even wear a mask, when we're talking about political mass, why would we keep talking about peace and unity? And why would we keep doing that every night and meditating and chanting and getting together and talking about peace and love and the world's beautiful and spirituality? Why do we do that when in the face of it?
Yeah.
What makes us do it? What started it? Why would we do that? And you have to say that in 2 minutes. You have to get up there and you have to just bare yourself. And it's good when it happens at the last minute, nobody even knows.
Right.
It was, we have the recordings.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
We have the recordings.
And that I agree with Victoria. I think that is the question of this time. That's the question of
I'm
this
glad we
time.
have this recorded.
Yeah, it's a question of this time. And
Whether you're the chorus sign or whatever,
Yeah, why do we keep going on?
maybe that could be the whole thing. The other thing I would say to you, Noel, I know to tell people to come over and have a discussion about what we do. Everybody is so busy and everything. People don't really want to co-create. Co-creation is tough work, right?
Amen, sister.
Mhm.
They want, like, if you set it out and you said, we are doing a play, you have a 10-minute, if you want to be a 10-minute performer in this play, we'll explain it to you. You will have to write it out, what you will say, and you will be included in this production. And you have to show up in 2 weeks on a Monday to record this with Bob. They will do that. But this is an hour and a half. The co-creation part, most people, believe it or not, just want to be in something and be told what to do and be clear and just be happy about it. And you know, so they don't have to have everybody. That's why they don't come on calls like this. Nobody wants to. They'd rather be, if they're busy and they have something they're doing, they just want to be told what they can. Just tell me what to do. I want to come and show myself.
Mhm.
So don't. That's why.
That depends on who it is, Victoria.
Yeah.
I know why I keep doing this, because I'm driven. I am absolutely driven in each and every moment. But how it shows up, I cannot orchestrate it ahead of time. So you're talking about creating a production, and I understand the thinking behind that. You and I have had this discussion before.
Okay.
Structure versus spontaneity. But what, to me, where the energy is in the what emerges in each moment as we trigger one another with sharing information, which is a very different dynamic from scripting. I just throw that out for whatever it's worth.
Well, I would love to have more conversation around that, because I kind of see a hybrid going on here.
Mhm.
I don't see the,
I was thinking that too.
Okay, all right.
Say more about that, either or
Tell us
both
what
of
the
you.
hybrid.
Yeah, say more about that, either or both of you.
Well, because I love spontaneity, but I also love Victoria's vision, and I can see that happening. And I know personally, I love it when someone says, I need you to do X, Y, Z. And I'm like, yes, I can do that. I can do that. I don't know what else I can do, but I can do X, Y, and Z. So that's always good. And from X, Y, and Z getting done, it sometimes opens another door for somebody to, you know, to come back with something spontaneously.
Mhm.
But I know if it was recorded, it wouldn't allow for the spontaneity. But if we were scripted and had that, but left open the door for spontaneity, that could be something like we could have an hour scripted, and then it could lead to an hour and a half of something when other people come into it.
Sorry.
And I'll just add, if you don't know how spontaneous conversation manifests, come join us in the stewards group, because that's the way things happen there. Yes, there's a very loose structure. It's much more an awareness of holding a balance within the group. But the things that come up from people who feel as if they're in a very safe space and can share things that they have never before shared with anybody. It's amazing what evolves there. And just briefly, an example. At the end of one of our gatherings, one of the women in the group shared with everyone, because she felt so safe, she shared that she had been sexually abused as a child by her father. I don't think she had ever said that aloud to anybody. But what happened after that was the two other women in the group contacted her privately and said, I too was sexually abused by my father. Let's have a conversation. I didn't orchestrate that. That happened.
Mhm.
Well, I love that, Janet. I love that sensibility that you're sharing. And I don't see that we can be all things to everyone. You know, I think we have to kind of, you know, make a choice. And so I do think though that what can be pulled together in this creative process can also instill an opportunity for a spontaneous experience from anyone, anywhere. And I think that that too is very similar to what co-creators is all about, you know, is offering that opportunity for an aha moment, you know. And so that I think there's some real realms of possibilities here if we're not trying to, you know, do it all. We really choose a format that, you know, is expressive of what we're trying to do.
So
Yeah.
I was late to, and apologize. So I don't know, has it been decided that there will not be a co-creators convergence in Loveland in June?
I think that's kind of the writing on the wall. We have a contract for the 23rd through the 27th, but I just don't feel comfortable having people, you know, think about the sleeping accommodations there.
The bathroom accommodations.
Bathroom, you know,
Yeah.
it's just too cramped.
Yeah.
You know, it breaks my heart, but we're looking at maybe going down to White Eagle Lodge in Texas, and only 20 people
later in the summer.
like in September.
Mhm.
And only 20 people could come, and there's very nice rooms, 2 single beds to a room with a private bath. And very, very nice. In fact, they actually, the pipes froze during the winter and it flooded their retreat area. So everything right now is being rebuilt.
Yeah.
So it's real shame, but so it's going to be basically brand new. So I would say we could check into that. Kathy Mason mentioned the YWCA up there in Estes Park. That it would feel like going to a hotel.
It's so expensive, and
So
chances
expensive.
are they're already booked, especially for this summer for sure. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
they're
Right.
probably still trying to work accommodations, but I just can't imagine it. It's really hard to get to. The food's super expensive, you know. I can't
Yeah.
imagine doing
It's a
The
it.
thing
beautiful
about-
setting, but it's
Beautiful setting.
got a lot of
The other thing
challenges.
about the White Eagle Lodge is we might even be doing our own food. We could be doing, you know, our
Might
own,
cook for ourselves if
our
they let
own
us do that.
cooking, and we could ask them that. They, you know, they're very generous to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be so personal. We'd be the only ones there, and it's 77 acres.
So we, final comment to your question, Flo, that just from the discussion that took place, it seems like that's the case, and there's too much uncertainty, both in the amount of time available for planning, as well as in people's feeling of security about travel and about being.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're going to need to tell the ranch, give the time to somebody else if you want to give it to them, whether we say, you know, give us another 2 months to decide whether we want your September date or not, or whether we just say, keep our contract for 2022, we'll be back to you later.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sarah brought up early on about maybe we use that time in September to do more, you know, powwow about the future of CCC and how we want to go forward.
In all of its different
when
elements.
we're there together.
Right.
And people could Zoom in even if they couldn't come. Another plus I would say for the Texas location is that it's only about an hour from a major airport. So airfare there should be very cheap. It's called IAH is the.
It's probably about the same amount of time to get to Sunrise Ranch from Denver as it is from the airport to the place. About the same.
And you know, we have 5 members that live in Texas.
Right.
That sounds good. And
yeah,
I think it also sounds good that it's a planning retreat, and that's, you know, it's evolution. That's what it's all about, right? And you have to
No, but-
evolve.
And the planning can come out of our intimate experience. It's coming out of meditation. It's coming out of being present. It's coming out of experiential as opposed to just, making shit up.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, having an hour or two meeting and think you're going to answer all these
Well,
things.
and also this uncertainty of the way the format has been, the co-creation of the format for the last few years of after somebody says, yes, I'm coming, then, okay, what do you want to offer in the circle to lead an experiential event activity
Related to the theme.
related to the theme? But we're still in a year of people not knowing, well, I'd like to
Right.
come, I think I'll come, but maybe I won't come, but then somebody dies and somebody's born and so, and all of those are happening. And
Well, and my issue too, in terms of flying, is that I'm not doing the vaccine yet. And so, if they're starting to make a mandate that you have to have your proof of vaccine, that's not going to happen.
there's gonna be a lot of, different people in different situations making different
Biden
decisions.
says he's against it,
You mean a vaccine passport?
a vaccine
But-
passport.
But,
That's not too bad. It's not too bad to drive from Florida to Texas.
Oh, no, it'll be easy. And it is an inexpensive flight.
Well, we'll know a lot more, because it's fast moving, this whole thing. We'll know by
It's just
September.
ever changing,
Yep.
ever changing.
No, by September, if everything is okay or somewhat okay, the flights are going to be
Oh, true.
So the other question,
That's true.
Flights are
Flo,
going to be what?
expensive,
Yeah.
but it'll be fine.
expensive.
Oh,
Expensive.
well, when you go out of major hubs, it's a lot less expensive, and that's a major hub.
Yeah, maybe.
So, Flo, also, the other decision is about, do we want to step in fully as a community into the World Unity Week in June?
And what does that mean? What is the obligation for doing that?
Well, the obligation is the little attachment that I put on stuff. For us, for co-creators to be a co-convener means that our website and our logo would be on there, would be fully recognized. We make a commitment that among all the members of our community, we will engage in presentations and or Zoom room hosting and or room stewarding. And just a few of us that have been involved in the past, we got all those boxes checked. if you
Karen,
want to do that.
Kathy.
Yeah, and so none of those are an issue. It also is making a commitment that we want to have our identity there, not just as a logo, but that we might steward a whole room for the whole 8 days. That doesn't mean we have to have 8 hours of programming 8 days a week, which was what we did during the Upconvergence because
We're crazy.
because a lot of people from this community stepped up and
No,
helped.
they really
And-
did.
And,
They really
and
did.
so that's what made it,
Amazing.
yeah, it made it crazy, but fun. And we had an amazing offering as a community into that space. And so I think what I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, is of the ones that have been here for the last hour and a half is that most think, yeah, we should step
Yes.
into that. Now, the specifics about it, we need to spend more time with.
Right, because we can't be real specific because they really haven't given us all the specifics of how it's going to work.
What the form is.
Right. So they're looking for people who have interest. You could say you're interested, but you don't have to it's not a commitment. So that's why we thought, we would bring it up on these, calls.
So the technology is that you register for the event and you check a box that says, I want to be a presenter, I want to be a room steward, I want to be a Zoom host, I want to work in the back office with the techie guys and everything.
It's great if you want to increase your tech skills.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they'll teach you.
And does your organization want to be a co-convener? Those are the questions on that. And so people like Karen, she ran a whole hour during the Upconvergence. She participated in other presentations at different times. She volunteered in other people's rooms to be a Zoom steward because they were desperate at the last minute or whatnot. And she also presented in other people's rooms. And so we had a number of people in our community.
She absolutely loved it.
We had
She
a number of
learned.
people in our community that played multiple roles.
Mhm.
We were kind of busy and then our computer took a crap and we spent time at Geek Squad all week. But there were still moments when they would shout out and say, oh my God, can somebody host a Zoom room an hour from now. And if I was available, I said, yeah. And so there's a lot of ways of participating. And it did without question bring visibility to the Convergence
And you
community.
don't have to do the whole time. You can say, I'm available Thursday afternoon, boom.
Right.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Great.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to make you rehash it all.
No,
That's
that's
okay. Well,
okay.
that's kind of a wrap up of conclusions too.
I have to go, so
Yeah, we gotta get going too. Ally, you have something, look like you're ready to say something. I'm so happy you're here. Give Don a big hug for us.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys can hug.
Oh, yep. We hugged.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll let her know. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm just soaking everything up.
Good. And I guess we lost Breck to Vale,
To the
huh?
high mountains.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it. She snuck out without me even realizing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, oh, she's in Vail now. Cool.
Breck is one of the most outrageous Facebook posters in our whole collection of 5,000 friends.
She's hilarious.
I
She is
know.
hilarious.
She's fun.
She is hilarious. So we miss you all.
Yeah.
Well, I think this has been good. I think we have more direction. And while we would like to have had all of our questions answered, it's like, I think September we'll come prepared. We planted seeds.
Yeah. We'll take as IOUs to talk to White Eagle Lodge about times and things and what's possible and whatnot. We'll pull the plug out from underneath of Sunrise Ranch for this year altogether.
Yeah, we could even do it October there.
And it'll be, the weather would be better even in October than in September in Texas. And we'll let Unity Earth know that we want to be a co-convener.
Be a co-convener. We'll figure something out from
and
there.
then we'll need to get back with people to say, what role would you like to play? And I feel like, I don't know, this conversation, Victoria, you and Sarah, and maybe Marcia might want to be in that discussion too about maturing this idea, the seed that you have been talking about for a while, Victoria.
Yeah.
I definitely.
Whether that can happen in time for June, or whether it's something that's an element of what we do together in September or October, wherever you go with it.
Yeah. Keep it on the table.
Yeah.
Yay. You got your water thing fixed?
I don't know. I better go see. I have to go. They're going to kill me.
Out of the room at the time that it's happening. I don't know if there's any resources that you guys wanted off of the chat. Grab the chat, save chat real quick. And if you miss it or whatever, just let us know. We'll have the chat because we were recording the video.
Yeah, the 3 dots at the bottom of the chat. If you click it once, it'll say save chat.
I'm on my phone. I don't have it on my phone. So
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
you don't have it
Well,
on your phone.
we'll just email you the chat because it had a
Thank
couple
you.
of resources earlier on. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Love you all.
Lovely to be
Thanks so
with you.
much.
Thank you.
Happy Friday night, everyone.
Happy Friday night.
blessings.
Bye-bye.
Bye.